Not so long ago, the world was an oppressive, orthodox, unfair system where only a few people, those in the upper classes, had all the wealth and power. They controlled everything, and most other people didn't have any chance to improve their sad lives. And then slowly, things started to change. Fresh waves of the new world and new ideas started rolling in. New cities were established, new cultures, new religions, new technology took over in this new world. Many bustling multicultural cities sprouted all over. Dynamic international trade sprung up. New opportunities for more people came up. Revolution in farming made food cheaper and more accessible to poor people. Life was getting better. Perfect economic systems, military systems, social systems, technological advancement made it a better, more advanced world with more wealth for more people. Power was no longer in the hands of the few. It was no longer orthodox thinking living in the closed world of city-states, ruled by a small, powerful religious and political elite. This was a more liberating world of immense activity and trade and hopes of upliftment for more people. But they did also have problems with climate change. Earthquakes were becoming more and more frequent. Annual rainfall had been steadily declining in many parts and causing food quality to drop. Famines were becoming more common, and to escape these climate conditions, large numbers of people had no choice but to pack up with their families and leave for new lands where there was hope for basic things like food. Immigration thus caused led to bloody wars, sacking of cities, escalating tensions, and a lot of civil unrest. Sounds like I'm talking about our world today, right? I'm actually talking about events that happened 3,200 years ago. I'm talking about the Bronze Age civilization that collapsed in 1200 BC. And when I say collapse, I don't mean decline or slowly died out. I mean ended in less than one generation. The civilization that spread across the Mediterranean with long-standing, advanced, strong societies like the Egyptians, the Hittites, the Mycenaeans, the Assyrians, Babylonians, all of them died out within the span of one generation. The fact that it eerily sounds like our world today, with its technology, a lot more opportunities for everyone, international trade and global connected world, that's the point. Many other civilizations in history have fallen, wiped out. The Yucatans, Greenland, Norse, Indus Valley. These are the ones we know. And there are also many tribal tales of even more ancient societies that were advanced and then got wiped out entirely. The ones that sometimes even spill over into myths like the story of Gilgamesh, Noah. I talk about those here to explain their historical context. We can't be entirely 100% sure about the reasons behind their collapse, but that's the very nature of large-scale societies because it's hard to point out causal effects because everything's so interconnected. It's hard to blame it all on one cause in most cases, unless it's a major war or a climate-related disaster. So 5 reasons historically that people smarter than me have come up with which cause collapse of civilizations are, and just for fun's sake and to have a restful sleep tonight, let's see which of these we are facing. Climate change, hostile neighbors, toxics in the air, trade collapse, and burden on natural resources. The Mayan civilization died out because of excessive deforestation, soil erosion, and droughts. There's also evidence of epidemics, civil unrest, maybe even peasant revolt, warfare amongst city-states that may have caused a breakdown of trade routes as well. So they checked out all of them. The Anasazi, who as far back as the 12th century built tall stone dwellings, which remained the tallest buildings in the US until the 1880s, died from deforestation. Evidence of water management problems and droughts have been found in the remains, plus of course large-scale massacres. Wouldn't be a human settlement without them. Easter Island also was an ecological catastrophe where practically every last tree was cut down, which caused mass starvation and of course civil war. Finally, a wave of smallpox and Peruvian attacks ended the story. The Bronze Valley civilization too had a bustling international trade network, and once that supply chain was broken, all the societies across the Mediterranean fell like dominoes in less than 100 years. Overuse of resources and clamor for it has historically happened, and the Greenland Norse people died out because of lack of resources caused by an increasingly colder climate and because the Inuits were assholes to them. Climate change really doesn't look like movie 2012 showed it. Just like in the Bronze Age times, it looks more like extreme or unpredictable weather, rising water levels, droughts which lead to mass migrations. Throughout history, it has looked like lost jobs and extremism because our primitive urges kick in when foreign people come into our lands and take our resources. The war between the sea peoples from northern Europe coming south towards the Mediterranean with their families because of famines was what caused incessant wars and trade route breakdown in the Bronze Age times. So it's hard to put your finger over one exact cause, and over time, after studying the collapse of past civilizations, these 5 seem to be the main culprits. And it's not one or two of these, it's almost always all of these, because they set off a cycle. For example, climate change causes immigration that causes civil disturbances, change in economic structures affect trade systems which put pressure on resources, which again affects climate. It's a cycle. As I was studying about the Bronze Age collapse and the collapse of others, I just couldn't get rid of the thought that we check out so many of these. So now ask yourself, which civilization in our times doesn't depend on these, and who would live to tell the tale? Sweet dreams tonight.